Hey, it's Mike back again with another video with Canine Revolution Dog Training. In this one, I want to talk about specifically punishment and the fact that punishment in dog training is not abuse. I'll talk about the differences between abuse and punishment because it's massively different. And the truth behind punishment, the fact that it is actually an act that protects the dog ultimately and the people around the dog. So if you look at abuse is intent to do harm. Punishment is not intent to do harm. Abuse is done just for the heck of it, or again, with intent to do harm and without reason. Abuse is harm being done for no reason other than you're being a jerk. So, punishment, on the other hand, there's a reason for inflicting or applying the punisher. The dog has behaved badly. Well, actually, you don't punish after the bad behavior. You punish at the earliest sign of the bad behavior. So that would be when the dog is loading. So let's say you're walking your dog. You should be able to recognize the signs in your dog. You're walking your dog, they spot a person walking towards you. You will see their expression change. Their ears will go up, their forehead wrinkles. They stare, they start staring. If they're panting, they'll stop, close their mouth. But the point is they will sort of lock on to that target, that trigger. That's the moment you want to apply the punishment. Not after the dog's exploded, not while the dog's, not when the dog starts barking. You want to administer that punishment at the earliest sign of loading or arousal, as they say. When you do that, it causes, or what you want it to do, is cause a massive interrupt in that thought process. So while they're loading, they're thinking, first of all, it's pattern behavior. Over time of being allowed to do these things, to being allowed to load and then explode at somebody walking by, for example, that's pattern behavior, and it becomes the dog's natural reaction every time they see a person, a stranger, coming towards them. What you have to do, what the punishment does, it interrupts that thought process, and then you can begin the counter conditioning to condition and train and pattern new proper behavior, and teach the dog what is acceptable. What kind of punishment would you apply in that case? It could be a bonker, which I'm going to do a video on very soon. You can apply a bonker. You can use a high-level correction or high-level stim with a remote collar, which I'm going to do a video on that as well. Or you can use a good hefty leash pop with a prong collar, and I'm going to do a video on a prong collar as well. They look barbaric, but they're the farthest thing from it. Far less barbaric than just a flat buckle collar. That's the reality. People will tell you otherwise, but you talk to a lot of trainers who use these tools, who are balanced trainers, they'll tell you and they'll show you, which I'll show you in another video. The prong collar is actually one of the gentlest and safest collars you can use on your dog. So you can apply the bonker, high-level stim from the remote collar, or a very good, solid pop, leash pop with the prong collar. You can pair that by saying no, first of all. So you say no, then apply the punisher, or you can just apply the Punisher. Either way, it's going to work. It's going to stop the dog. It should. If it doesn't, then you didn't do it right, or wasn't a high enough of... It wasn't... you underwhelm the dog. You have to overwhelm the dog. It sounds mean, but it's not. Because what you're actually doing is you're protecting that dog from exploding at that person, potentially biting them, keeping them from ending up in a shelter, keeping them from biting somebody. So if you think about it, what's more abusive? Allowing your dog to pull on a flat buckle collar, which could potentially damage or injure the windpipe. If you ask any vet about collar injuries, they happen a lot. Dogs will pull really hard on a flat buckle collar, far harder than they'll pull on a prong collar. So what's more abusive? Allowing your dog to pull as hard as it can, or as hard as it wants, on the end of a leash, on a flat buckle, choking itself, barking at this person, potentially breaking free from your grip if you're not a very strong person and you have a strong dog, going and biting that person, or making it really uncomfortable for that dog for about 2 seconds or less, and they stop the behavior. It stops right there. You stop it before it even happens. The dog goes, whoa, what just happened? It looks to you, usually, it may go into a down. Every dog's gonna react a little differently, but whatever it does after you administer that punishment, it's something new, especially if it's the first time you're doing this. It's like, what the heck was that? I don't know quite how to deal with this, but it really sucked to do that, and I'm gonna think twice next time I see a person walking towards me. And it's pretty amazing when you watch, after even just one punishment for stopping a behavior like that, how quickly it works. So there you can kind of see the difference. Well, you should be able to see the massive difference between abuse and punishment. Two completely different things. Administering a punishment in the proper context. You don't just go punishing your dog for no reason and, whacking them with a bonker and yanking on the prong collar with no reason, for no point, or just zapping your dog with the remote collar for no reason. You don't just do that. There's a whole sequence in applying the Punisher, and the sequence is extremely important. So you need to learn to recognize the earliest sign of arousal, the earliest sign of loading in your dog. That's the point which you say no, then you apply the Punisher and you make it suck. It has to, or you're going to underwhelm the dog and it's still going to explode. So that's my video on punishment, just to show that it's not mean, it's not abusive, it's what's necessary to save dogs' lives. And that's basically the bottom line. So I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.